What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 3, Week 3, and we are kicking off with the Heindler Division. First of all, first update to these videos. I am going to be putting timestamps down below for when each series kicks off. This was something a couple of people mentioned in the comments. It was something that I did through all of Season 2, and I am getting back to, as I have not been doing it recently. I will get back to that, and I will add timestamps into the video. A couple of quick things before we jump into the games. Last week was kind of a trial run for me in terms of trying to make content where I didn't cast every single game. I casted the last game of each series and then left the other games towards the end, just so that I wouldn't reveal basically who won like the first game, and it's basically to avoid spoilers. However, mixed feedback, about half the people I think just really didn't care for that style of video, and I appreciate it. I seriously do appreciate the feedback. Even whether it's positive or negative, I want to hear it, because my ultimate goal is to try and make the WDL and all this as watchable and as good as possible for especially the players, but also the viewers, like 100%. It's very, very important to me that everybody who is a part of this enjoys it and likes it and looks forward to it every single week. I try to make as good a content as I possibly can. So thank you again for the feedback down below. Which brings me into this week, how this video structure is going to look for this week specifically. First off, I'm going to cast every single game of all of the divisions this week. And now you're probably asking, how are you having time to do that? You said last week you didn't have time to do that. Which brings me to the one change that you are going to see throughout this week, and I would like to ask again for your feedback down below on this. My face that you see on this screen currently, you are not going to see during the matches this week. This is actually going to be very similar to when Orange J did Friday Night Fights. When he would live stream, his face would be on the screen until the fight took place, and he would actually take his face off. This might seem weird for, like, does this actually save you time? The answer is yes. This actually does save me a lot of time. The reason for this is to get this setup where I have my face on the screen while I'm running all this kind of stuff. Just a little behind the scenes look for you guys. I have like these ring lights. I don't even know if I can get it on the camera. I have like these ring lights that try and light up my face and all this kind of stuff. I have a light over here. I have to set up my camera. I have literally like a ironing board that my green screen stands on top of. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's a bunch of shit that I have to set up every time that I want to do this. And because of that, it is not just like an easy, okay, I have 5 minutes of free time, I can just cast a game. It takes time for me to set all this up. I have to put it in the exact perfect position. My point is that if I don't have to set this stuff up and I just have 10 minutes of free time here and there, I can pop on my computer real quick, I can cast a full series, and I can just leave, and I'm good for that time. And my point is that every Monday is normally the day that I record every single match. So you can assume if I'm recording 20 best of threes, that is a very time-consuming day that takes up the great portion of my day to do all that. Today, it is Monday morning, I'm just starting to cast. I've already casted 15 out of my 20 series because I've just had random little pieces of time throughout the last few days where if I have 10, 20, 30 minutes, I can crank out a bunch of stuff, I can dip out, and it's a lot more flexible for me. So I do understand that this is a change, and for those people who miss my face on the screen while I cast matches, I would like to hear that down in the comments. If this is something that is important, I want to know about it. Again, I am just trying to test things out to try and make this as good as possible, to cast all the games that I can while also making it doable for myself, if that makes sense. So that was really long-winded. I know I went over a number of different things here, but I just want to say I appreciate the feedback. I'm going to try and make this as great as possible as I can. The last final thing is you are going to see, while I casted the games this week, I actually created a new graphic for each match. It is essentially just like a little scoreboard graphic down at the bottom. You will see that shows both of the teams, both of the players that are in the series at the time, and then there will be a little a little white block, excuse me, that shows whether a team has already won a game or not, so you can tell whether they are on game point. I would love some feedback on that as well. If you guys think you really enjoy it, that's awesome. If you think it's distracting, let me know as well. Again, I'm doing this for all you guys, so I appreciate all of your time, all the feedback. That being said, that was super long-winded, and let's finally get into some freaking games. So first of all, let's look at the Heindler Division standings 2 weeks in. And we've got 3 teams at the top of the table with 6 points. We've got Turambar of the Fire Ferrets, JB79 of the Paranoid Androids, and Unhindered and Ignite the Storm. Unhindered does fall a little behind on the tiebreaker, but still undefeated in his series record. We've got LucianRamz of Lone Shadow with 4 points, Colgate of Fwendship, Maverick of Spaghetti Western, and Spike of Bebop's crew, all with 3 right around the middle of the pack. Error 404 with Ashes to Crashes not far behind with 2 points, and CrimsonLyse and Triumphant Trailblazers and Dezaire of Team Big Mouth in the end with 0 points, but they're both looking to try and get on the board this week. So we've got a number of best of 5s to get into, guys. Best of 3s. I don't know what I'm saying. We've got 5 best of 3s. Let's jump into them. Hop into this series, guys, and we've got Colgate on the left side with Team Fwendship versus Error 404 with Ashes to Crashes. Looks like a poise buff coming out from King Bradley immediately to get that courage and physical damage up. Looking at the placement here, Starkey or Error 404, whatever you want to call him, with the Keen Blade from Hio, all stacked up on one side right next to King Bradley, excuse me. This could be very interesting. Brumal Form coming out from Yuffie. So what is the accuracy like for Bradley here, as she is going to have a guaranteed hit nullification? Revitalize coming out from Balo. So interesting strategy here with the Keen Blade from Hio rather than Balo. Balo's got tons of AP though, so I'm imagining he's probably going to be doing a lot of taunting blades. Leonis Barrier coming out from Elda, so he's going to gather some hate, a shield as well, 3 hits. He's going to walk forward, but Bradley is way ahead of the others. I don't think they're going to be able to reach Elda here. The Burning Drive actually hits in a massive AoE. Good damage onto Colgate's Bradley here. Yuffie might be able to clean him up. And no, she actually goes for Blinding Trinity. She can't find the AoE on Bradley. So the blind lands on Slime, but that is probably not the one you wanted on if you are Error 404. And my goodness, Bradley takes out the backline tank of Balo. Slime going to find a heal, but it only goes on to Elda here. So can Error 404 take out Bradley? If he can, this could be massive. And Elda actually walking right next to Bradley is huge for Error 404. The reaction for Yuffie giving her CT up, and she's going to go next with 49 AP. And this looks very, very good for Error 404. Windstorm Plus comes out, kills the Elda, procs the courage on Bradley. The Slime is very low. Can't quite connect with the Yuffie though, but the CT up on Bradley. He's going to go next. Calculated Rend. Somehow, he finds the angle on both of those units. How in the world did he do that? But here comes Hio, a bunch of damage onto both units, and that is a double kill and a win for Error 404. Starting up the second game here, guys, and Error 404 and Ashes to Crashes are currently up 1-0. On the other side here, though, Colgate's running Bradley, Elda, and Slime just like last time, but the positioning is changed. They are stacked up rather than being separate. Here comes the Keen Blade from Oberon, so a very different team coming out from Error 404 this time. Rabbies, Phoebe, and Oberon, rather than the fire composition like last time. Heart of Flutter comes out from Rabbies, so she's trying to get way ahead, get some unit attack resist. She already starts the fight with a ton of AoE resist, so she should be a pretty bulky girl. Even with the elemental disadvantage versus Bradley, she should soak a couple hits. Leonis Barrier comes out from Elda, though. 3-hit barrier and the hate. Again, trying to use him as like a tank. But he is sitting in the back line right here. But here's the Quicken from Rabbies. Does she go for damage or a charm? What is it looking like? It looks like Saintly Cross. No, it's a Taunting Blade. Hits 2 of them. Actually gets dodged by King Bradley. Is this an evasive setup, or is there just almost no accuracy on Rabbies? Subjugating Spear misses, and I think that answers my question. I think this is an evasion Bradley here. I know Earth has a lot of evasion VCs. Royal Wren comes out. I think one of those was missed by Bradley. Kills the Slime in 1 hit, though, so that is good for Error 404. Calculated Wren comes out. A good chunk of damage. Phoebe, though, can she get in range to do anything? Doesn't look like she's channeling a spell, so she cannot reach. Earth and Glory comes out from Elda, lands the kill onto Oberon, and this is looking very bad for Error 404. I think we are going to a game 3, guys. Calculated Wren comes out from Bradley. Quick action going to go on to Ravi, so she is going to act sooner, but with only 15 AP and a Dream, I don't think she's going to get much. Counter Thrust almost takes her out, but unless Phoebe is going to summon a Spirit Bomb, I think this one is over. Although, wait a second. If she is White Mage Subjob, she might be going for a full life here. If she can respawn Oberon, this might not be over. 5,400 damage from the Elda. Heals back up. This is onto Oberon. He comes back.
Wait a second, guys. 43 AP on Oberon. Can he pull something off here? Thunder Smite, 5230. So has the guaranteed hit, and it looks like he has to go for that because this Bradley is that evasive. Quick Lunge comes out, going to give himself some CT up. Will he lap Oberon here? No, he won't. 23 AP. Can he find a kill on King Bradley, though? Thunder Smite, he has his courage. Gonna have CT up. Unless he gets like a counter to kill, I don't think he has a chance here. Although he did not do much damage, only 2200. King Bradley has 25 AP. Calculated Ren doing so much damage, though. Oberon is so low, and Bradley actually just going to lap. 38-21 is going to take out Oberon, and that is a victory for Colgate and Fwendship. Final game of this series, guys, and we've got Colgate on the left of Fwendship with Elda Leonis, Helena Leonis, so Mom and Pop Leonis along with the King, the true King, Bradley. Poise coming out from him with courage and physical damage up. Double Fire Squad coming out from Error 404 with the Balo, probably as a tank. Silverwolf's Grace, this is Flag Bearer Glassy. TMR getting Protect on the entire squad. Going to be useful against his physical damage on the other side. Keen Blade popping off from Hio. And what does Balo have in store here? It is Immortal Spirit getting Courage online, walking forward. He is definitely running bow ties. That is only 2 movement. Bar Aurora coming out from Helena, though. Not a whole lot going to matter there other than the defense up, I believe. Some of those other resistances not going to matter a ton. But here is the tank. Elda coming out. Leonis Barrier getting himself some hate and the 3-hit shield. We've seen this before. And so he's going to move to the side. I actually didn't track how much movement that was, if that was 2 or 3 spaces. Brutal Form Plus coming up from Yuffie, though. So she's going to ignore guaranteed hits. So this should be very, very interesting coming down to the end here. 3 turns of ignoring that. Is there enough accuracy on Colgate's side? Extreme Nova popping off from Hio, though. Decent amount of damage, I'd say 4,000 or 5,000 there, starting a nice fire chain, but nobody will be able to follow up as King Bradley's going to go next. Calculated Rend hitting the back line Balo. Not being able to find the AoE is good for Error 404 here. Helena, what does she go for? Just refreshing Bar Aurora. And my question is she have White Mage sub-job or Time Mage sub-job? Because she needs to run one or the other. She cannot run both. Elder walking up and doing a little bit of chip damage onto the Hio. But what does Yuffie have for a response here? I expect a giant AoE. Here it comes. Windstorm Plus. Good amount of damage onto Helena. She does survive. The slow counter lands, though. That could be massive as CT up comes out from Bradley. If he wasn't fast enough, a slowed Hio might be pretty big here. Balo survives another calculated Ren with 1 HP based off of his courage. Unknown Trader comes out from the Hio on the other side, proccing the courage onto Bradley. Can you finish him off, Balo? No, because Elda has hate in the backline and he has Taunting Blade. He's able to reach him instead of taking out the Bradley. And here's the question. This is my question. White Mage or Time Mage? What does Helena have in response? Drain Zone comes out and heals Bradley a little bit. If this is a Curaga, I think it is over. No, it is a haste. But now this is a hasted Bradley and still a slowed Yuffie. Yuffie still has not taken a turn yet. Mama Leonis finally going to drop from the lightsaber on the other side as Piercing Vengeance from Elda going to lifesteal a bunch of health off of him. And now Yuffie is in a 2v1. She is an evasion unit. Don't counter out. Can she find a kill on Bradley here? No, he gets the ultimate eye. It's a reflex. Oh my god, and she might not take a turn for another age here. He finds a standard attack, shattering the barrier. He didn't get any AP off of it, though, because he didn't do any damage. Attacks her again. He's only still got 11 AP. That is not a ton. Hien from Elda is not accurate enough. She does get CT up from the reaction block rate. She hopped a little bit in turn order, but not ahead of Bradley. Oh my god, this is down to the wire here. Yuffie with 68 AP. Can she find an AoE on both? No reflex this time. She is praying for it. Here comes Windstorm Plus, going to hit both. It's going to kill Bradley. No reflex. And now, does Elda have the accuracy? He's got 10 AP. No, he is going to go Leonis Barrier. He's going to channel Hate and get a 3-hit shield online. He does not have the accuracy to hit this Yuffie. I think this is over. 36 AP for Yuffie. Can she finish him off right here for Error 404? Art of War is going not a ton of damage. Shatters the barrier. Counter thrust. It misses. I don't think he has the accuracy. He didn't have it. He does have AP, though. Void Piercer, I think, is a guaranteed hit. It kills the Yuffie. And Colgate and Fwendship, with the power of Fwendship, wins this series 2-1. Absolute banger of a series. My god, that slow counter. Helena Leonis, Mama Leonis, was the MVP of that series 100%. Without that slow, I am certain that Error 404 wins that. But GG's, great series to both players. Game 1 of this Heindler Division series, and we've got Dezaire on the left side with Team Big Mouth, with a very interesting low-cost composition against the other side, CrimsonLyse of the Triumphant Trailblazers. We've got Reagan, Velis, and Uni coming out from him. We've seen this happen before. But on the other side, we've got Rafael, Nasha, and Severo. That is a very low-cost team. I believe that is only 150 out of the total 220. A very interesting comp, and not something I necessarily expected to see. Here comes the Halloween Ryryu TMR on Rafael here. And what does Nasha have? 12,700 health. Also has the courage, and she is ready to go. She's walking to the side. I believe that was only 2 movement, which makes me think she is running bow tie. I believe that was 2. Uni finds the barrage on the back line. Cannot kill Severo in 1 hit, though. And Severo, it looks like he's going to go for return damage. He is walking forward. I think he can reach Uni here. Can he one-shot Uni back is the question. Ice Blessing coming out from the Velis. Watercrypt Perpetuator is going to do 8,000 damage, and yes, he can. He seals the turn 1 kill here. So Severo not getting his level 120 skill off. I'm curious if he will be able to find that before the fight really kicks off for sure. But here comes Rafael. The spell spread is going to do 1792. It does remove the haste onto Reagan, but I imagine Velis is just going to refresh it. No, I am sorry. He's going to walk up and going to go for Icebreaker. This is a guaranteed hit. This is an evasion unit, so I'm curious to see how dodgy she is. Only does 3,000 damage though, which really is not all that much. And I'm curious to see if they have the accuracy to hit her without guaranteed hits. 53 AP on Nasha, gonna go Guardian Wall, so she's got both courage and a 3-hit shield. What does Reagan have for follow-up? He is not able to do damage, which means he does not have the accuracy. So I think we just answered our question. I don't know if there's a single way for this team to hit the Rafael. Dezaire might just win this on turns, potentially, if they can't hit the Rafael. I say that, but they're just going to go for the other 2 units. And now the question comes, does this low-cost team from Dezaire have the damage to get through these 2 units? Heavenly Wrath does not do all that much, and Velis has so much healing. Protecting the Light of the Future comes out from Reagan again, just going to refresh, get that courage up again. Velis probably going to go for a heal here because I don't think he can go for damage. Here is the haste onto Severo, so he does have his courage online now. Ice Blessing going to get refreshed from Velis. And what does Nasha have here? I expect this could be a long fight here, honestly, because Taunting Blade's going to come out from Nasha. There is not much damage coming out from the side of Team Big Mouth, but I don't think the other squad can hit Rafael. So this is going to be one heck of a slow fight, I think. Snow Blessing come out. Sonic Octostrike Blade should do a ton of damage, though, coming out from Reagan. There is that barrier on Nasha. I say it should be a ton of damage. Not really. The barrier is now gone, though. So the next bit of damage should do more. But only 18 AP on Rafael here. I don't know what she can follow up with. Armor Cleaver comes out, 3,300, going to drop the defense. Now, this is the big question. Severo, can you chew through this Reagan? The unfortunate part for Dezaire here is that he have to close the gap. Like, he has to get way close in range to get that flare off. 5,900 is nice, but he's going to get the self-heal back, and I think this is damage coming from Velis. Sub-Zero is going to chain off of that damage from Reagan, damage capping the Nasha, leaving her at only 1 health. Nasha, can you land a Blade Bash or something? No, goes for the Taunting Blade, so she has hate, but these other 2 units are in AoE range. Reagan's going to go for Crimson Blade Strike. We know Rafael's going to dodge, but these 2 other units are dead. And now I'm looking at this fight, and I honestly don't know what outcome can come of this other than CrimsonLyse winning on turns, because I think there's going to be so much healing from Velis. I don't think Rafael has the damage, but these 2 units literally cannot hit her. Like, they have no way of doing it. Reagan's not even attempting it. So I think we are just about to wait 19 actions out. Honestly, Rafael with 16 AP, what can she do? The only way that Dezaire, I think, can win this is if Velis runs out of heals, or she just does a ton of damage, and I'm just looking at the damage numbers. I don't think that it can happen. 16 actions left. Snow healing coming out. And looking at this composition from Dezaire, I think the evasion setup was actually a really smart call, because the accuracy clearly is not there from CrimsonLyse's team. But the team, unfortunately, just doesn't have the damage. I wonder if somebody like Nasha would have been swapped out for a heavy damage dealer. Maybe there could have been a win here. But I think this is just waiting out these 9 actions. So what happens here? They're just going to stand next to each other, become the best of friends. They say, hey, let's just all get along. Let's make peace. Let's make love, not war. Here comes Rafael with 26 AP. Can she find some sort of miracle here? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. But what does she go for? She's sitting here thinking long and hard about this. Heavenly Wrath comes out. That's actually a good chunk of damage. If she could do that one more time, I think she would win. But CrimsonLyse is going to win on turns. The evasion Raphael cannot be taken down, but it does not matter. The victory goes to the Triumphant Trailblazers. Game number 2 here, and it looks like we've got a switch up coming out from Dezaire. So not switching out the Raphael. Actually, they are switching out the Raphael, excuse me, for the Amnilus. So it is now double water magic composition with the tank versus the same squad from CrimsonLyse. But it looks like the positioning is a little different here, as Stars of Swiftness comes out from Bellas onto the Uni rather than the Reagan. And here comes Sweet Support, the Little of the Bull TMR coming out from Amnilus. So agility up on the entire squad, and the team is very grouped this time rather than being separated like game 1. Immortal Spirit coming out from the Nasha. And there should be more damage coming out from Dezaire's team this time, as Aerofall is going to come out from Uni. Just a little bit of chip for 1500. Not going to do a whole lot here. Did I just see Amnilus get CT up? I think I might have seen that, which means she might be running that Wizard Staff. Not 100% sure. I believe I just saw that, though. So this is going to be Haste Perpetuator coming out from Severo, Courage and Haste, Stars of Swiftness coming out from Bella, so he's just refreshing on the team here. Reagan is very far away from the fight, though. A lot further away than Uni is. What does Amnilus have in store here? What kind of buff is she going to go for? Because I don't think she can reach damage yet. She is still fairly far away from the Uni. But she is sitting here thinking. Here comes Hour of Restoration. So this is a very nice buff to get online, and this is something I forget that Amnilus has. HP recovery on the entire squad, and actually, there it is for Severo. He actually took enough damage from Uni to proc it right there, which could be the difference, depending if Uni hits him. He's going to live one more turn before the Courage comes up, so that could actually be kind of big. This buff might actually make a decent difference here. Severo does have a ton of range, so is he able to find the Water Gut? Yes, he is. 9,000 damage, enough to kill Uni again, so very similar to game 1. Severo finding that edge in that 1v1 versus the Uni. Bella's just going to get in a constant buff rotation in the backline. Maiming Slash coming out from Reagan, so going to mitigate the healing power that Nasha gets on that HP recovery that Amnilus gave to her, excuse me. Amnilus, can she reach Reagan, though, is my question. I'm not entirely sure if she can. She is taking a very long time to think about what she wants to do here. I will say, though, the Uni response, getting rid of the haste on Severo, could actually end up being a pretty big deal. He should still have Courage online, but obviously missing out on the haste can be pretty big. Uni at 30 costs obviously doesn't always do a ton of damage, but just nullifying that haste on the other side while your team is tasted up can really make a difference on turns. Taunting Blade doing almost nothing to the Reagan, but she is going to gather hate. Here comes the Maiming Slash from Reagan, though. The Courage still online for Severo, so he lives with one hit. And now I imagine he probably follows up with a Flare here onto the Reagan. And Velas is pretty far away from heal range. They might actually be able to chain up this Reagan before he can get in range to heal. And I think this would be Dezaire's win condition in game number 2 here. Velas does close the gap. I think this is damage, though. I don't think he can reach a heal. Eternal Frost does so much damage. Did that proc the Courage on Nasha? I believe it did. I believe she is sitting with 1 health. Amnil is going to go next. And she needs to find a ton on the Reagan here, or this is going to be really bad for Dezaire. And I'm not entirely sure why, but Amnilus, for some reason, her turns take much longer than any other unit. I think this does happen sometimes with casters. I'm not entirely sure why this happens, but she's thinking long and hard about it. Can she find a ternary seal on both? Yes, she can. That skill is absolutely ridiculous. She finds damage onto both. But I'm looking at the turn order, and I think this is going to be too little too late. That Blade Bash could be massive, though. Reagan is going to miss his turn completely, and this could very well buy enough time for Dezaire, because if Reagan goes there, he's going to find most likely a double kill. Severo should be able to follow up with a Flare into another ternary seal from Amnilus, especially if Severo can... I mean, they might be able to find a kill on one of these. Actually finds the Water Gun on both. That's even better. Also drops the Bravery on the Reagan. And Amnilus with 6,000 health, though, how much could she find with this damage? She needs to kill at least one of these units, I think, to have a chance. Because Reagan and Velas go next, and they're all so low. But what is she going to do? She's sitting here twiddling her thumbs, twirling her hair, taking her sweet time, trying to take in as much attention as she could get here. I'm going to start playing some Jeopardy music while this fight goes. But here comes Advent. This is the limit break. She is summoning a massive ancient spirit bomb on the party. It procs the courage onto Reagan, but that is going to get his CT up. It is not enough to find a kill on the Velis. And that 1 health for Reagan looks like it could be a massive difference as Mountain Dive comes out, gets the double kill. Velis should go next here on the turn order. He is going to. And in fact, Reagan is going to go next right after Velis. So I don't think it would have been enough anyway, but the snow healing comes out. Reagan's going to seal this kill, and that is a Game 2 victory for CrimsonLyse and the Triumphant Trailblazers. All right, guys, in a battle to stay at least tied for first place, we've got Turambar of the Fire Ferrets on the left side versus JB79 and the Paranoid Androids. This should be a banger of a matchup. Show Me Your Power coming out from Kefka, getting the AoE resist up. Hate on the other 2 units as well. Resist Magic is a very nice tech from Turambar, using that Spellblade sub job on Edward, as Focus Fists comes out from Mariluk. Way of the Void, a nice tech as well with the fire resistance. This is Heo TMR onto Alphonse here. Chi Barrier onto Revelka, who has been very, very potent through the first couple of weeks. And Mariel, maybe the best 50 cost tank in the game with the level 4 Banishka, not going to do a whole lot of damage. I believe that reduces activation rate on the counter though, as the re-raise with CT up is online for Kefka. Automill's Crux comes out from Edward, so he's ready to go, ready to dispel, ready to have plenty of AP. Focus Fist coming out from Mariluk, gets her own defense piercing rate up. And what does Revelka have in store for us? Deflagration Blast, not a ton. 2,700 onto Alphonse. He is proving to be a very effective tank here as he goes for Stone Enclosure on the tank. Mariel, does it land the slow? And how much damage does it do? It does land the slow. It is 4k damage. She is 73 AP though, so what does she go for? A Banishka on the party, not much damage. Again, does reduce that activation rate, but that's pretty much all it's going to do right now. And Edward, what can he find? He's going to go Adamantine Pillar Transformation, removing the buffs on the others, as well as upgrading some defense piercing. A good chunk of damage, and now Mariluk's next hit should do a ton of damage as she just went for Measured Power. This is basically a way better version of Store, but Deflagration Blast does a lot of damage to the entire team. Light of Judgment comes out, not quite enough to kill Alphonse. He is a very beefy boy, and he is hanging on, but Boulder Blockade does a decent amount of chip, but gets dodged by Kefka. Alphonse, not the most accurate unit in the world when he doesn't use his guaranteed hits. Revelka's going to pick up a kill. Does she move? No, she stands still to save some of her CT, but Dance of the Mad coming out from Kefka. This could be massive. If this confusion lands, I think it is over. Oh, it lands on the Edward and kills Mariluk. So Mariluk never got the opportunity to use that Measured Power buff. 6,000 damage from the standard attack from Edward is absolutely ludicrous, but that's all he's going to get to do as the Dispelling Double Shot comes up from Revelka. And wouldn't you know it, JB79 and the Paranoid Androids pick up the Game 1 victory in this series. JB79 and the Paranoid Androids on game point in this series. What does Turambar have for response? It looks like he's switching up his team composition. Resist Magic coming out from Edward, but he's got the double wind units along with some Time Mage support in the back. Show Me Your Power again coming out from Kefka. I imagine this is the exact same composition as game 1 for JB. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Lucia, what does she go for? Sharpshooting Stance, going to get her piercing rates up as well as some effect range. This buff, I think, is pretty crucial for her to get to really utilize her to the best extent. More the merrier TMR for Shell and Crit Evasion coming out from Shell, though, is a very nice tech. And here's the Sweetheart Eldira TMR from Mariel, getting her to move way forward. Full Metal Rage, this is going to shatter her defense and do a good chunk of damage, though. 35-33. No, hold on a second. That didn't show the defense drop. Not sure how much defense debuff resistance that Mariel has in her kit or with the Trust Stones. I'm sure JB probably has at least a Trust Stone on there, but resist the defense break, and that could be massive. Edward does not do nearly as much damage without the break. Spiteful Blast would have done less. Honestly, she might have died in those first 2 hits without the defense break, because that's a pretty big damage enhancement. Quicken comes out, Adamantine Pillar, and Mariel still hangs on. That defense debuff resistance looking absolutely crucial here for JB. Level 4 Banishka comes out, a chip damage onto all 3 units, but Shell does have the quicken follow-up. Does it come off in time? Yes, it does. Edward, I believe, does not have a ton of AP, though. Only has 19. Finds the kill onto Mariel, but is it too little too late? Kefka's going to walk up here. Can he find an AoE on the team? I don't think so. I think this is just on Edward. That is Hyperdrive, 7,300 damage. Lucia, you need a ton here. Spiteful Blast slow lands onto Revelka, but misses Kefka completely. I imagine some high agility and luck coming out from Kefka here. Dodges the attack. Standard attack picks up Edward. Wow. 2-0 series win for JB79 and the Paranoid Androids. Very impressive showing by him. I do stand by the fact that I think some of that defense debuff resistance was pretty crucial in this fight. Without that defense break, I think Mariel would have died in the first 2 hits without it. So GG's to both players and a very, very good team setup from JB79. I expect nothing less. Congratulations to him and well played to Turambar. All right, guys, up to bat, we've got LucianRamz on the left side with the team Lone Shadow versus Maverick on the right with Spaghetti Western. And it looks like a team that we have seen a couple of times before from LucianRamz, the Double Dark squad of Shadowlink Sephiroth, along with Dario as a tank, as Prayer of Resolute Oaks comes out from Sylvie, the Illusion buff from the Shadowlinks, Masamune and Waiting coming out from Sephiroth. And on Maverick's side, this is also a team we have seen a handful of times. Lucio, Sylvie, and Zazan. And if I have to guess, I give an edge to Maverick actually here, as Lucio is known to be an absolute dark, just decimator. I mean, he can get absolutely ludicrous levels of dark resistance. So I expect him to tank up damage actually from Sephiroth and Shadowlinks quite well here. Buddy's protection comes out though, Re-Raise and Shell on the Sylvie, as Dark Haze comes out from the Shadowlinks. Getting herself some evasion up as well. I believe that's from the crit. I believe that is from the new piece of equipment from the legendary reliquaries. So LucianRamz putting that new piece of equipment to work here. As Revitalize comes out from Lucio. And the big question for me is, does Lucio have the accuracy to hit Shadowlinks, as I believe he should tank up damage from the other side very well. The Blade Bash, a very interesting tech coming out from Dario. Looks like he's got Draining Seal turned off here. Lands the stun on Zazan though, could be pretty massive. And the heal coming out from Sylvie. Full heal onto both her and Zazan, also getting that one-hit shield. The stun will expire here. Shadowlink's going to go next. Dark Haze onto the backline onto Sylvie, doing basically no damage. In fact, might have even helped her out, as she's going to get the regen and healing power up, which is going to help her out. Blade Bash onto Lucio only does 82 damage. Does not find the stun. And my goodness, that healthy boy took 623 damage from Spirit Breaker. Sephiroth is out of AP. Guys, if you are sick of losing to Sephiroth, Lucio might be the answer. I am telling you here. 1 AP left onto Zazan. What can he do? Just going to standard attack onto the tank, Dario. And Sylvie should be able to follow up with damage here. There's not much else she can do. Clever Paladin Strike on the group. Kills the Dario. 3,600 damage onto the Sephiroth here. And Shadowlinks, what can she do? She's going to have to hard carry this. 6,500 damage onto Sylvie is pretty respectable, but I don't expect that she can do nearly that much to Lucio as the... Oh, man. No way. He did not just do that to Lucio, dude. He got the both reaction abilities, the Physical Reflex and the Scintilla, and Scintilla did 5,600. Ironically, I think the only way that LucianRamz can win this is by Maverick attacking him and getting countered. That is just absolutely bananas with a B-A-N-A-N-A-S. And here comes Sylvie. Landing the kill on Sephiroth, though, should, I think, seal the deal here. I can't imagine Shadowlinks pulls off a 1v3. She is a very strong 50 cost unit, though, and I believe is LucianRamz's favorite unit. Here comes Zazan. Steel Heart trying to go off. Does not land the Steel Heart, though. Looks like some charm resistance probably on the Shadowlinks. Surge Strike is a guaranteed hit, though, which should allow Lucio to win this fight here. Shadowlink's going to go Shadow Tether on the Zazan. The stop lands, but I think it's a little too late here, as Zazan's turn is going to get skipped. Lucio should go for another Surge Strike here. Yes, there it is. Shadowlinks is going to drop, and that is a Game 1 victory for Maverick in the Spaghetti Western. Second game of this series, and we've got a switch up from both compositions here, and it looks like King Mont, Terra, and Shadowlinks on the left side here, as Maverick is running Renel, Lucio, and Resnick. So very interesting composition. A little bit of dark damage still coming out from LucianRamz, but mostly a fire squad this time, as Deterrent Subterfuge is going to come out from Renel, and it looks like Resnick is channeling a spell to buff up the entire squad. Immortal Spirit coming out from Terra. She's going to have Courage online. King Mont going to go with his own TMR, AoE resistance on him and Shadowlinks. An interesting choice, I will say, just for the simple fact that this buff that comes out here, Illusion for Shadowlinks, normally gives herself some AoE res as well. But Teachings of Self-Preservation, max HP up, defense, spirit, all that good stuff. Also giving herself some more healing power, so she's going to very easily full heal per 2 units if it comes to it. Revitalize coming out from Lucio, so he's got tons of AP here. Renelle, what does she have in store? Shadow Dance, a very nice technique. AP, Auto Restore, as well as the 3-hit barrier. And she is ready to go here. Tara, what do you have? Do you have damage? Yes, you do. Crescent, Riot Blade. This is the limit break. She's going to go up into the sky, twirl, send a little X blade down onto the ground. 1900 damage onto the Lucio. I believe that gave her slash piercing rate, I believe. Fangs of Leon is coming out from the Mont. It disables the Lucio. That is absolutely crippling for Maverick here. And Illusion buff just gets refreshed from the Shadow Links. And I'm looking at this team coming out from LucianRamz, and there are some very, very crippling status effects. Stop from the Shadow Links and disable from the Mont. And I think Terra even has a way to disable as well. Spirit Breaker coming out from Renelle. Drops the attack on the King Mont here. And man, oh man, Lucio going to walk forward, but he's not going to be able to do anything. His first turn of doing nothing. He gained some AP for himself, but that's it. Meltdown Plus, not doing a ton though, and actually going for Resnick here. So very, very interesting. She does not have Hate Down at the moment because she did not do that skill that drops her hate. And this is a dodgy group coming up from LucianRamz, as not only Shadow Links, but also King Mont drops it. With that illusion buff, having enough evasion to dodge, Maiming Slash comes down and drops the healing power as well. A very nice technique considering Resnick is on the other side, but it's not going to matter. Shadow Tether comes down and it lands the stop onto Resnick, and oh my god, I feel so much pain for Maverick at this moment with double status effects coming out. Renelle gains some AP. What does she have for the other side? Gloombound Trinity drops the agility on 2 different units, dodges the counter, but all 3 hits missing on the Shadow Links, one of the most evasive units in the entire game here. And the only way I think that Maverick can win this is just by living a little more. And there it is, Firaga Slash. If it didn't kill Resnick, would have disabled her as well. She was already stopped. You don't need to disable her as well. That's crazy. The disable finally leaves Lucio, but is it too little too late? Shadow Tether comes out. The stop does not land this time, so finally Maverick catches a break here. 87 AP on the Renelle. Wicked Pummel coming out, a decent amount of AoE damage. Lucio should be able to find a Limit Break or Scintillating Eclipse, Crescentic Break, something. Here it is, Luminous Grace. The Limit Break going to drop the Light Resist. I believe this got dodged by Shadow Links. Oh my god, it got dodged by King Mont as well. I don't know what the odds of that happening were. I don't know what his evasion is. Iron Blow comes out for 1900 damage though. Shadow Link's going to go next. And she standard attacks the Lucio for 3600. He has so much dark resistance that her best answer was just the standard attack anyway. It's enough to claim the kill. Spirit Breaker 2300 is not nearly enough for this King Mont, who I believe still has his self-heal coming up. The Dark Ifrit Esper coming out, and that just shows you that King Mont is a definite evasion build. Dark Ifrit is one of the better evasion Espers in the game. It has quite a bit of evasion in the kit. And my goodness, another stop onto Renelle, and these status effects from LucianRamz, very, very well played. An absolutely devastating team coming out from him on this side. And that is a Game 2 victory for LucianRamz and the Lone Shadow. Guys, before we head into Game 3, I just wanted to give a massive shout out to Maverick here and the Spaghetti Western. He is a really, really awesome guy. So after Maverick won Game 1, they had a Game 2, and LucianRamz, obviously by mistake, it was an accident. He wasn't trying to like intentionally cheat or anything, but accidentally brought a team of King Mont, Terra, and Dario. And that team composition is actually 230 cost. That is over the full cost of our format. It has to be 220. LucianRamz actually won that game with that composition, but Maverick said, hey, no big deal, let's just run it back. Wasn't trying to push for like a free win or anything. So I just appreciate the sportsmanship from the two players. Obviously it was an accident. They decided to run back some sort of, different composition. And that is what this game that we just watched was. It was the fair run back with two legitimate teams. So obviously LucianRamz won Game 2. And now we're heading into a Game 3 to see who takes the series. Game 3 for these two players, guys, for all of the marbles. And it looks like the same squad coming up from LucianRamz and the Lone Shadow. And Maverick's going with the switch up. Got Zazan with the double Glassy. This is a very classy Glassy composition without Classy Glassy. Here comes War Maiden's Pride from regular Glaciella Wazette, getting herself a ton of buffs. The other Glaciella also getting herself that barrier and the AoE buff for the entire party. Looks like a very similar turn rotation going to come out from LucianRamz, though, with the Immortal Spirit coming out from Terra. Mont going to walk forward. Zombie TMR coming out from Shadowlinks, though. I believe this is a switch up from last time. I don't remember if she used this. Maybe she did. I know she went Illusion on turn 1 or 2. But here comes the Dragon's Bloodline coming out from Zazan, so maybe expecting Berserk on the other side. Probably a smart move, considering that King Montezan on the other team could obviously Berserk bomb his squad, so trying to avoid some of those status effects that crippled him last time. Leap Strike doing only 1,000 damage to the Mont, so actually soaked pretty well. This time, Fangs of Leon is coming out. The Disable does not land on Glassy. I do not know if she has natural Disable resistance. If she does, could be a reason that Maverick brought her. Maybe he just stacked some of it up. I don't know. A Chain coming out from Terra, though, and Glassy is just soaking this very, very well. Shadow Tether comes out, 3,000 damage, no stop. So 2 for 2 here. Maverick has not gotten statused. That is much, much better than game number 2, I will say. And it looks like the hasted up Glassy is going to walk forward, but she cannot find damage yet. Fangs of Leonis comes out again, no disable. So the status effect resistances looking on point here for Maverick. 0 for 3 to this point. Surefire Burst comes out, one-shots these Shadowlinks, and that is massive, but the re-raised TMR does bring her back here, as Terra's going to go next with 75 AP. Can she finally land a kill onto Glassy? Not even close, but it does do a decent chunk to the Zazan. Dispelling Spear Flight, 5692. With the allies in the way, can't find the AoE on the Shadowlinks, unfortunately. Shadow Tether comes out, finally kills the Glassy. So she's going to be down. It is a 2v3 in LucianRamz favor, but only 10 AP on the Mont. This looks pretty decent here for Maverick. So Glaciella Flagbearer is going to go next with a ton of AP. Shining Conviction kills the Mont. Does get dodged by the Shadowlinks, though. I have no idea what the hit rate would be. Meltdown Plus comes down for a little bit of chip onto Glassy. Zazan is still left standing, though. I imagine Shadowlinks will kill him. No, she actually goes for Shadow... Oh my goodness. She goes for Shadow Tether on Glassy. Instead of trying to kill the Zazan, she lands the stop. And oh my goodness, this could be it for Maverick again, losing to a stop status effect. Terra's going to standard attack the Zazan, though. Can't claim the kill. And does Shadowlinks go for Glassy again? No, this time she does standard attack the Zazan. I think last time the dead bodies were in the way and were the only reason that Shadowlinks didn't go for her. And the dead bodies in the way might be literally the reason that Maverick could lose this. 43 AP on Shadowlink. She's going to follow up with a standard attack. That is enough to claim the victory. And oh my goodness, it looked like all of the stuff was going to go Maverick's way there with dodging the status effects. Shadowlinks dodges the attack, lands the stop onto Glassy, and my goodness, LucianRamz and Lone Shadow pulls out the Game 3 victory and wins the series. That was one hell of a series to both players. Maverick, I'm so sorry. I know it probably feels really bad to lose those status effects. Thank you again for being a really good sport, and I appreciate both of you guys. Let's go to the next series. Game number 1 of the final series for the Heindler division here, and it looks like Unhindered on the left side with Ignite the Storm is running Little Leela, Cloud, and Roy Mustang. And on the other side, Spike with Bebop's crew is going with an interesting composition. We've got Astrius, Gilgamesh, and Murmur. Deep Fortification comes out from the Astrius. He's going to have some HP absorb on him, as well as getting that AoE buff on the squad. Murmur probably going to go for a fast cast here onto one of the party members, as Fuel to the Fire comes out from Roy Mustang, so he's ready to deal a ton of damage, especially if he hits that Gilgamesh. I imagine he's going to drop very quickly if he is able to hit him. Cloud going with the AoE buff on him and Roy, as there is the fast cast, so Murmur is hasted up. And what kind of channel is this from Gilgamesh? I think this is probably a self-haste as well, as the Heart of Flutter, the Sweetheart Eldira TMR comes out from Little Leela, so she's ready to tank up. Her unit attack resist is up and her movement as well. Indomitability, and this is the key buff that Astrius needs to get to perform well. He is a much better unit when he has his Courage online. Armor of Discontinuity, I'm sorry, it is not self-haste, as Stone Gut Enervator comes out, 4,800 damage, dropping the Earth, I believe, resist as well. All-Consuming Fire, that did nowhere near as much as I thought it would to Gilgamesh. Maybe using a fair bit of AoE resist, but the Blade Burst comes out from Cloud, and the other squad isn't necessarily a tanky team, but the blind can sometimes help you catch a miss, as Kotetsu Plus from Gilgamesh deals a decent amount of damage here. Astrius should be able to clean this up, and it's actually a double kill, and this is looking very good for Spike and Bebop's crew in game number 1. Murmur's got 85 AP. Is she going probably for a heal? No, she's going for a flare, and this actually gets dodged by Cloud. Cloud is obviously not a very evasive unit, but that blind coming in big here. Can Cloud find at least a double kill? Mega Slash is going to hit all three. It does not kill Gilgamesh. Again, he must have a fair bit of AoE resist. I am surprised he is tanking these hits this well. Excalibur, Vorpal comes out, decent amount of chip. Astrius, even with the elemental disadvantage, I think should be able to do a good chunk unless he gets reflexed, and he reflexes the limit break. This is absolutely massive. Does he still get the Crystal Tracer buff for this? I'm actually not sure. Yes, he does, but the damage follow-up doesn't happen because he didn't get the initial damage. Can Cloud get another reflex? Because he's going to lap. Nope, 3,000 damage with the Crystal Tracer. Pops off here, and Astrius finds the game win for Spike and Bebop's crew in the first game of the series. Second game of this series, guys, and this is an important one as Spike is trying to keep pace with the rest of the pack, and Unhindered is trying to win to try and tie JB79 for first place in this division. The regen buff comes out from Agrius as Spike is running Gilgamesh, Agrius, and Eileen. A very interesting full UR composition, but obviously in our format, Eileen is only 60 cost. Momentum comes out from Eileen, so using the other Earth units TMR, that is King Bradley's TMR, as Double Wind comes out from Unhindered. So can Double Wind overcome Double Ice? The elemental side of things says the advantage goes to Spike, but can Unhindered make up for it with some strong units here? Cloud going with the AoE buff, Vacuum Veil coming out from Joom, so she's got her hate online as well as Protect and Shell. And Sosha, the 30 cost unit, what do we see from her? Not surprising, it is the Keen Blade. This is slash attack up, which is going to benefit Cloud a lot, and the CT is the most important thing. So what is this buff? Is this, again, Armor of Discontinuity? I actually didn't track what all that does. I'll be honest, I've never used Gilgamesh a single time in my life in PvP, so I'm very excited to see him kind of have his time to shine. But here is the Ascension. It is not Omni Slash. It is not Clim Hazard. It is Ascension coming out from Cloud. It's 4,000 damage onto the Eileen, even with the elemental disadvantage doing a good chunk. But this is Dragon's Might coming up from Sosha. Guaranteed hits, Protect, a bunch of other nice things here. Agri's going to go Northwind's Strip. I can't say that word right. Anyway, 1,100 damage, removes the Protect coming from Joom, so she's not going to tank quite as well, but Stormwind Ren doing so much damage. Elemental advantage to the Eileen, even if the other two are good against the Joom. Kotetsu Plus, dealing a good chunk, dropping the slash attack resistance as well as Agrius might be able to chain off of this. 22 AP on Cloud, what can he manage? Triple Slash Plus is not a ton. Looking at the CT order, Agrius is going to go next, and there's that Northwayne Strike Destruction again, this time doing about double the damage as it did last time. But Joom, what can she find? Dance of the Whirlwind is not quite enough to kill Gilgamesh, as he, I think, just got some CT up. Can Sosha clean anyone up? Yes, she can. With the Ranger sub job, finds the Sharpshoot, the kill on Gilgamesh, and this should be a win for Unhindered here, unless Agrius can pull off a miraculous 1v3, and I don't see it happening as Joom is going to go next, kills her with the Hio Lightsaber. And Unhindered, even with what on paper seemed to be an elemental disadvantage, ignites the storm and takes it to a game 3. Of course, the final game of this series goes to a game 3. Wouldn't have it any other way. This one is for all the marbles. And on Unhindered side, running the same team back as he did on the second game. On the other side, though, Spike is running something very, very different here, as Joom is going to run the Vacuum Veil, Protect, Shell, and Hate, walk forward. But we've got a very heavy magic side coming up from Spike, as this is Miranda popping Courage, possibly running Bowtie. I believe she only moved 2 spaces there. I might have seen that incorrectly, but Sun's out, Guns out. It's summertime for Summer Jaden. Doesn't have his 140 upgrade yet, but he is still a very good boy here. And Murmur probably going to go with a fast cast. The Keen Blade from Unhindered, though, very well positioned, is going to catch all 3 units. Joom is going to go Wind Blessing, so now she has a physical shield. I will say that's probably not going to do a whole lot against this full magic team. She does get some defense piercing rate to boot, though. And Cloud should not really have any issues with AP. He's already got AP up on critical hit, and he is a very, very crit heavy unit. Dragon's Might coming out from Sosha. Cloud is pretty far back here, though. That is the only thing I will say that might not be great for Unhindered. But other than that, if Joom can tank up a couple hits, we'll see how well she can do here. This is the limit break going on to Joom. Does she have any sort of slow resistance in her kit? Because Beachside Blastorama is a 67% chance to slow. There is the slow landing. For Unhindered side, if there was anybody you wanted it to happen to, it is the tank, but Water Good Dispeller comes out from Miranda. No sleep lands. That has a chance to sleep. It does not happen, though. Flare comes out from Murmur. Does this kill the Joom? Not even close. 2,600 actually tanked quite well by her. And here is Bells by Cloud, so he has infinite amount of AP here. But does he have an infinite amount of health as he is standing right next to the tank here? Water Go Dispeller is going to land. It lands the double sleep. Sosha is going to miss her turn here, and I think Summer Jaden might be able to clean this up. This might be a win for Spike and Bebop's crew here in Game 3. Piercing Ray does 10.8 thousand to Cloud. I believe that is a shot that works off of his unit resist. I'm actually not entirely sure there, but GG's, a very well-played series by both players, and congratulations to Bebop's crew. All right, guys, this is the standings for the Heindler division after 3 weeks, and let's take a look at how it's wrapping up. First of all, I normally would have my face on the screen for this portion as well, but I'm trying to get this video out as quickly as possible. We were running a little late on a couple of things with some of the battles, so I'm trying to just get this out as quick as I can. Taking a look at the standings, though, first place, we've got JB79 all alone with the Paranoid Androids, has yet to drop a single game, let alone a series. A very impressive showing for him, brand new to the WDL. In second place, we've kind of got a tie between Unhindered of Ignite the Storm and LucianRamz and Lone Shadow. I will say LucianRamz has the better plus or minus, but Unhindered actually won this matchup head-to-head, which means he is in second place, does technically have the tiebreaker over Lone Shadow. And then in fourth place, we've got 3 different teams with 6 points, all with varying plus or minus for their games. Turambar of the Fire Ferrets, Colgate of Fwendship, and Spike of Bebop's crew. In 7th place, we've got Maverick of Spaghetti Western with 4 points, CrimsonLyse in 8th with Triumphant Trailblazers with 3 points, and Error404 Ashes to Crashes has yet to get that series win, but still has 3 points under his belt as he has brought every single series to Game 3. He's been very, very competitive. Dezaire with Team Big Mouth unfortunately has not picked up a point yet, but I'm sure it's coming down the pipe at some point. This division has been very, very competitive, very interesting. There are so many teams within distance of each other from, I mean, even first place, but especially second place through 7th, only be like 3 points apart from each other is pretty crazy. I hope this continues throughout the season. I hope it continues to be competitive. I think it will be. It should be a great time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed these matches. I hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July and have a wonderful day.